Chapter 9, Heredity and Evolution. We have seen the reproductive processes give rise to the new individual that are similar but subtly different. Okay, we know it very well when the reproductive processes are going on, and if a particular organism give birth to a new organism or newly individual particular organism which are similar but have some difference, okay, between the parent as well as a daughter or a son. Okay, so from this we can see that there is a little bit difference between the two same organism. Okay, so we have discussed how some amount of a variation is produced even during a asexual reproduction. Okay, and the number of successful variation are maximized by the process of sexual reproduction. Okay, so from this we can see that maximized by the process of sexual reproduction as well as for the asexual reproduction. Okay, so there will be a different variation between them. So if we observe a field of a sugar cane, we find a very little variation among the individual plant. Okay, if we talk about a individual plant, there is a little bit of difference between a parent plant as well as a daughter plant. Okay, so same way, but in a number of animal, including a human beings, which reproduce sexually, quite distinct variation are visible among different individual. Okay, so different individual are there and variation should be seen. Okay, so in this chapter we shall be studying the mechanism by which variation are created and inherited. Okay, so once again I am repeating. Okay, we know it very well that if a new individual species are carried out from the parent species, then there is a certain variation, okay, in that new individual species. Okay, so that variation is because of which phenomena and what are created in that, due to which it have a difference. Okay, that we will study. Okay, so the long term consequence of a accumulation of a variation are also an interesting point to be considered. Okay, long term variation, okay, or consequent accumulation. Okay, there is a certain phenomena due to which this can be seen. Okay, so that also we will study. Okay, we shall be studying this under evolution. Okay, so we can be studying under evolution. Evolution means what? Some change are seen. Okay, so now here you can see, okay, accumulation of a variation during reproduction. Okay, here you can see that one parent organ are giving a different two new organ. Okay, in which there is a difference, okay, between them. Here you can see that here in head, in left hand side, here in head there is a red color are seen, okay, which is little bit different from the parent. And same way here in the right hand side you can see that at the bottom there is a green color is there. Okay, that is also a variation, okay, with the parent. Okay, so this way two different new, okay, species are created from the parent species. Okay, and these two different species will also give a new species, okay, which you are seeing at the bottom. Okay, so this way all characteristic are changed, or characteristic as well as a property which are seen, okay, that is also changed. So inheritance from the previous generation provide both a common basic body design. Okay, common body design are same. Okay, in a particular organism there will be a common basic body design, but subtitle changes, okay, or subtle. okay, which we are seeing that from a generation to generation, okay, body design are same but little bit difference can be seen, okay, in the body. Now think about that, what will happen when this generation or a new generation in its turn reproduce, okay. So the second generation will have a difference that they inherit from the first generation as well as a new created difference, okay. So in previous figure we have already seen that from the parent generation, okay, two different new generation have a body design structure same but their subtitle are changed same way that two subtitle change organism will give a rise to a new characterized generation, okay, and that is a new created difference, okay. So difference are seen by generation. Figure 9.1 would represent the situation if a single individual reproduce as happen in a asexual reproduction. As happen in a asexual reproduction, if one bacterium divide and then the resultant two bacteria divide again, okay, so four individual bacteria generated will be very similar, okay. Now same in a figure we have already seen that if a single bacteria, okay, are dividing toward two different bacteria, okay, having a body design same but that characteristic are little bit different, okay, from the parent bacteria, okay. So the new two different bacteria are seen in which you can see that body design was same but little bit difference was there, okay. From that two bacteria further on it get divided to a four individual bacteria, and same way variation are seen in the bacteria, okay. So by generation to generation little bit difference can be seen, okay, in the body. There will be only very minor difference between them, and the difference which we have seen that is little bit minor only, okay. Their whole body organ will not difference, okay, they have a same organism, okay, body design will be same but little bit difference can be seen in that, okay. Generated due to small inaccuracies in DNA copying. Okay, so copying DNA, there will be little bit difference will be seen. However, if a sexual reproduction is involved, even greater diversity will be generated, as we will see when we discuss the rule of inheritance. Okay, so greater diversity will be seen. Okay, little bit difference will be seen. Okay, so do all these variation in the species have equal chances of surviving in the environment in which they find themselves? Obviously not. Okay. Depending on the nature of a variation, okay, depending on the nature of a variation, this difference can be seen. Different individual will have, okay, and different individual will be there. Okay, if we talk about the variation, okay, variation are dependent on the environment, okay, and surrounding, okay, which are there, and little bit nature of a variation is seen. Now, different kind of advantage, and bacteria that can withstand heat will survive better in the heat wave, as we have discussed earlier. Okay, in a heat waves, okay, what we are seeing that heat will be survived. Bacteria which are withstanding heat, okay, that will be survived by the heat waves, and selection of a variant by the environment factor form the basic for the evolutionary processes, as we will discuss in the later section. Okay, now we will talk about the heredity. Now we will talk about the heredity. Most obvious outcome of the reproductive process still remains the generation of the individual of a similar design. Okay, the rule for the heredity determine the process by which trait and the characteristic are reliably inherited. Let us take a closer look at this rule. Okay, now we will see inherited trait. Okay, in which we have seen that what exactly do we mean by similarity and difference? We know that a child bears all the basic features of a human being. Okay, if we talk about the child, okay, they have all the basic features, okay, which are getting from their parents. Okay, however, it does not look exactly like its parents. Okay, their looking are not exactly with compared to their parents, but human population show a great deal of variation. Okay, so from this we can see that if a child, okay, are there, okay, they will not have a same and ditto to ditto, okay, face. Okay, their face are not same as compared to their mother and father, but little bit difference can be seen in their whole body structure, but organism will be same. Okay, organism will be same, but face are not same as compared to their parents. Okay, so some difference can be seen here. You can see that in A and B. Okay, so rule for the inheritance of a trait, Mendel's contribution. The rule for the inheritance of a such trait in a human beings are related to the fact that both the father and mother contribute practically equal amount of genetic material to their child. Okay, if a particular child are growing or gathering or creating, at that time there is a equal amount of genetic material are used from the father and mother. Okay, so child have both the characteristic, okay, their father also as well as their mother also. Okay, so development of child is because of the equal amount of genetic material from father and mother. Okay, so from this we can see this means that each trait can influence both paternally as well as maternally DNA. Okay, so from this we can say that each trait, okay, can be influenced by both. Okay, paternally means father and maternally means mother DNA. Okay, so it is constructed by both the, okay, mother as well as father DNA. Thus, for each trait there will be two version in each child. So, in each child there will be two version. What will then the trait seen in the child be? Mendel see a box, work out the main rule of a search in, and it is interesting to look at some of his experiments from the more than a century ago. Okay, Mendele used a number of contrasting visible character of a garden piece. Okay, so Mendel had compared with the character of a garden piece, round, wrinkled seed, tall short plant, and white violet flower, and so on. Okay, so Mendele has compared his experiment with different sources. Okay, for example, for the garden, okay, peas, okay, here you can see that peas which are round and wrinkled seed, okay, having a round as well as wrinkled seed. Same way, tall and short plant, okay, plant, if we look about a plant, okay, there is a different characteristic of plant. Okay, some having a same genetic, then also they are tall and one is short. Same way, flower, okay, which are white and violet. Okay, so on. So Mendel has compared his experiment with all these sources. Okay, he took a pea plant with a different characteristic. Okay, he has taken a pea plant, okay, in which you have seen that a tall plant are there as well as short plant are there. Okay, both the plant, okay, he has used produce a progeny by crossing them and calculated the percentage of a tall and short progeny. Okay, so and he has compared a tall and short progeny. Okay, so from this he has told that there is a different characteristic. Okay, plant having a same but their height are different, tall as well as short, and characteristic are also little bit different. Okay, so in the first place there were no half characteristic in the first generation of F1 progeny, no medium height plant, all plant were, okay, here you can see that tall and short. Okay, both of them contain a TET. Okay, we say it as a tall. Say it as a tall. Okay, here you can see if we talk about the tall and short. Okay, tall contain both the capital T, TT. The short contains small t, and second is also small t. Okay, all tall offspring. Okay, in which you have seen that one t and small t. Okay, okay, it will give a rise to this offspring. Same way, if a tall, okay, capital T and small t, it is also taken another capital T and small t. Okay, so possibility will be TT, another is capital T and small t. Same way, third is also capital T and small t, and last is T. Okay, so if the tall and short are there, okay, the possibility will be one t and another small t. Okay, from both of them one will be there. Okay, here 2t are there, from that 2t 1t will be there, and same way small 2t it will be there. Okay, so possibility will be this, and same way for t and small t and capital T and small t, possibility will be capital T, TT and 2 small t. Barabar? This means that only one of the parental trait was seen. Okay, here we have already seen that one of the parental trait will be seen in the new plant. Okay, so not some mixture of the two. So the next question was that the tall plant in the F1 generation exactly the same as the tall plant of the parent generation. Okay, here you can F1, if we talk about the F1, okay, having a same Mendelian experiment tests this by getting both the parental plant and this F1 tall plant to reproduce by the cell pollination. Okay, that will be reproduced by the cell pollination. Okay, and that the progeny of a parental plant are of course all the T. However, the second generation or F2 progeny of a F1 tall. Okay, here you can see that F1 and F1. Okay, so from this we can see that situation can be seen. Okay, plant are not all the tall. Okay, all the plant are not tall. Instead, 1/4 of them are short. Okay, how much? Okay, 1/4 will be short. Okay, we are comparing a tall and short plant. Okay, in which we have already studied that too tall. Okay, when it get reacted or performed, it will give little bit small characteristic of a short plant. Little indicate the both the tallness and shortness trait were inherited by the F1 plant, but only the tallness trait was expressed. Okay, but here you can see that only a tallness trait are expressed. Okay, little bit of short will be there, but then also that is not expressed. This read a mandate to propose a two copy of a factor now called genes, okay, which we say it as a gene. Mendele has proposed two copies of a factor which are said to be a genes. Controlling a trait are present in sexual reproduction organism, okay, and these two may be individual or may be different. It may be identical and it can be different depending on the percentage. Okay, depending on the percentage, it can be individual also, it can be identical also, and it can be different also. Okay, depending on a percentage, how much percentage are there, okay, from the parent as well as paternary and maternary part. A pattern of a inheritance can be worked out with this assumption as shown in the figure 9.3. Okay. In this explanation, both, okay, both capital both the capital T and one T and small t are tall plant, while only both the T is a short plant. Okay, once again I am repeating. If one capital T are there, okay, then also it is said to be a tall plant. Okay, once again I am repeating. If one capital T are there, okay, then also it is said to be a tall plant. But if the both of them are small t, then it is said to be a short plant. Okay, so there is a necessity of that both of them contain a small t. Then and only then a plant is considered as a short plant. Okay, so in other words, a single copy of t. Okay, just now we have discussed that only. A single copy of capital T is enough to make the plant tall. Okay, for making a plant tall, single copy of capital T is necessary. Okay. While both the copy have to be small t, a plant is considered as a short. Okay, so traits like capital T are called dominant trait. Okay, which are said to be dominant. Okay, if one capital T will be there, then also that particular copies are said to be tall, while those having a behave like a T are called recessive trait. Okay, which are said to be recessive trait. Capital T are said to be dominant trait which are dominated. Okay, if the one capital T are there in the copy, then also that is said to be a dominant trait, and that copy will be tall. Work out which the trait will be considered dominant and which one is recessive. What happened when a pea plant showing two different characteristics? Okay, if we talk about the pea plant, okay, two different characteristics are seen rather than just one. Okay, are breed with each other. What do the progeny of a tall plant with round seed and a short plant with the wrinkled seed look like? They are all tall and have a round seed. Okay, they are having a round seed and tall. Tallness and round seed are thus dominated trait. Okay, tallness as well as round seed are said to be a dominant trait. Okay, round seed. But what happens when these F1 progeny are used to generate F2 progeny by self-pollination? A Mendelian experiment will find that some F2 progeny are tall plant with the round seeds and some, okay, where short plants with the wrinkled seed. Okay. However, there will be also F2 progeny that showed a new combination. New combination can be seen. Some of them will be tall, some of them are tall but have a wrinkled seed and having a wrinkled seed with seed, wrinkled seed, while other will be short, okay, but have a round seed. You can see as to how new combination of a trait are formed in F2 offspring when a factor controlling a seed shape and color recombine to form a zygote leading to form a F2 offspring. Okay. Thus, the tall short trait and the round wrinkle seed, okay, are independent inherit. Okay. So here you can see, okay, cross fertilization. Okay. If we talk about the cross fertilization, okay, here you can see that 3:1 ratio are seen, okay, in the plant. Okay, here you can see that P is there, okay, and there is another in which we have seen that 3:1 ratio are seen. So from this we can see that self fertilization is carried out as well as. Now how do this trait get expressed? Okay, how we can express this trait? How does the mechanism of heredity work? Okay, cellular DNA is the information source for making a protein in the cell. Okay, in the cell we know it well. DNA is the important. A section of a DNA that provides information for the one protein is called gene. For that protein it is said to be a gene. How do protein control the characteristic that we are discussing here? Let us take an example, tallness as a characteristic. We know that plants have a hormone. We know it very well that plants have a hormone and trigger growth. Plant height can thus be depend on the amount of the particular plant hormones. Okay, so particular plant hormones it is dependent.
Are traits. Traits are characteristics or features that can be passed from one generation to another. Some examples include hair color, height, skin color, or gender. With dogs, it could be long tails versus short tails, ears or short ears, or maybe even the shape of the nose. Each of these factors can be passed genetically to another generation. There are different forms of the same trait. In this next video, notice the different shapes of the noses. These would be examples of alleles because they are different forms of the same trait. Trait can also be dominant or recessive. Each individual has two alleles for each gene, one coming from each female and the other from the male. With dominant traits, an individual carries two dominant genes, or one dominant and one recessive gene. A dominant gene can be expressed even if only one copy of the gene is present. A recessive trait will be expressed if an individual has two recessive alleles.